What's going on, guys? This is Red from the Mothership, and today we're going to be talking about the Fallout 76 beta so far. Now, I did have a few issues, actually, in the beginning on Xbox, getting access to the beta. It's a separate download. A lot of people may not have known that. I feel like an idiot, personally. Had a lot of trouble with going to play when the beta's open and it has to update, and so I spend the entire time the beta's open updating. Just a lot of little hiccups like that, but so far it's been a pretty fun game. I've really enjoyed it, and I'm just going to talk about a couple of the things I've noticed, some pros, maybe some cons, maybe give you guys some ideas of, the ones who haven't played it yet, what to expect. So basically we're just going to go over weapons, multiplayer, loot, a couple other things. I'm going to give you my first thoughts. Keep in mind it is still a beta, so any problems I do have, I'm expecting a lot of changes by the time the real game actually is released on November 14th. So I'm trying to be as fair as actually possible. But that being said, let's start this video. So the first thing I want to talk about on the list is multiplayer. So Fallout 76 is a multiplayer game, and I know that a lot of people were worried about that because of PvP, other little aspects like Fallout being a really good RPG that people like to take their time with and play slow. People are going to grief you. You know, there's PvP, there's always going to be people that want to fight you, and hell, you might even get bored and want to beat somebody to death with a golf club. It goes without saying, it's a multiplayer game, there's going to be people that kill you for your loot. Loot is very valuable, especially certain items that might be easier to kill a player on the way from a haul than going back and looting it yourself. But I've noticed in this game that a lot of the players are still Fallout players. They're not very interested in PvP. A lot of them are just friendly, out there exploring, trying to find their stuff, build their town, whatever. You're still going to have guys that are higher level with power armor that attack you and try to beat you to death. But the game does a really fair job of kind of making them work for it to try to kill you. You know, I had these guys beating me with sledgehammers and power armor for a second, and it didn't really do any damage to me. So it's hard to kill a non-hostile players, and most of the people are still Fallout players, and most of them are friendly. Also, I think that the beta is only open for certain points of time, so I think a lot of players are more focused on finding new content, seeing what all they can explore, versus going out and just griefing other players. We might see a change when the game releases. Next thing I want to talk about is loot. So the way the loot works is if it's in a container, then everybody can search it, and the loot is randomized, which is cool because you get perks where you get more ammo or more medicine, things like that. You're playing on a team, it's really cool that you can trade between each other, and kind of like if some guy's got excess 38 ammo, you can trade it to him. If it's laying on a table or otherwise outside of the container, the first person to pick it up actually gets it. But don't worry if your friend finds a cool outfit or a weapon that you want. The loot does respawn, so you can always come back later and pick it up. You have stash boxes you can access pretty much anywhere that you can build or find a stash box, and everything you put in there is going to transfer to every stash box in the game. So you pretty much have access to all your extra stuff everywhere. I haven't seen a lot of legendaries or real treasures so far. I don't know, it's still early game. I've done some exploring, but I'm sure that there's some good stuff out there to find. Other than that, most loot I want to say is useless. You know, aside from adhesive and aluminum and wood to build or lead to make bullets, a lot of the stuff you find that you pick up early game, you're going to find is just a bunch of crap. You'll have 500 rubber, but you need lead to make bullets that you don't have. So be careful with picking up every little thing, I would say. Next on the list is weapon requirements. So one thing that I didn't expect in this game, they do like an MMO type of thing where say you find a really cool shotgun, it's going to have a level requirement on it. It's going to say level 30. Granted, it's going to be a pretty decent weapon and do a lot of damage, but if you're level 28, 29, anything under 30, you can't use it. So I think this is really cool because it makes it kind of immersive. You know, a new level player can't just get a badass gun and go shoot everybody in the map and kill them. But it's a double-edged sword, because when you come across, 3 Scorch Beasts, you're going to want a decent weapon. I know in a lot of Fallout games, I usually keep one powerhouse weapon for oh crap situations. The coolest gun I found so far is a muzzle loader, and its level requirement was 15. So it's not super high, it's a super mutant slayer kind of thing. Does a lot of damage. But at the same time, I wish they had more of a New Vegas style approach, where in New Vegas there was a strength requirement for weapons. And if you didn't have that strength requirement, the weapon would not perform the way you wanted it to. So I think instead of having the straight level cap, you can't use it till that level. Maybe add in the feature where you can actually use this weapon that's, level cap is 60, but the stats just aren't as good as they're supposed to be because you're a lot lower level and I guess inexperienced. So let's talk about the map. Fallout 76 map is huge. It's massive. There's going to be a lot of running around. I have noticed with cliffs, things like that there's a Skyrim level of, accessibility. It's not so bad as Fallout 3, where there's a bunch of invincible walls. But the cool thing is, even though there's a lot of running and it's really big, the game is gorgeous. The map is gorgeous. There's so many cool things to just go and run for and look for, and it's just super pretty. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous game. And I'm really happy with the map. I'm only sad that there's no vehicles. There's no giddy up buttercup to ride, or, you can't fix up a motorcycle or anything like that. I was hoping that for the first time, I've played mods in Fallout 4 with giddy up buttercups, four-wheelers and stuff. I was just really hoping for them to add that in. So I'm looking forward to that in the future. Hopefully that's something that I can have. It's my little giddy up buttercup that I can ride around the map. I think that would be a lot of fun. Quests and NPCs. Now this is pretty much the biggest buzzkill for me, is the lack of NPCs. The quest is okay, there's no real clear direction of where to go or what you're doing, but you'll spend most of your time on the big map just running for cool objects in the distance. It is kind of lonely without NPCs. I know they say that other players are pretty much the NPCs because there's so many of them, blah blah blah, but it really makes me kind of sad. It's kind of lonely. There's not enough time in the beta to really enjoy the nuanced details of the location so far, so during the beta it'd be nice to have some NPCs. But in any case, even though there's vendor robots, you don't have to deal with a lot of annoying dialogue, like, oh, I took an arrow to the knee, or anything like that, so that's pretty good.
I'm about to shoot this robot in the face if he doesn't shut his mouth.
Radiation and mutations. Man, there are some cool mutations in this game. I'm going to tell you, I found a couple that I really, really love, personally. I don't know if there's a cap on mutations. I see that I get about 6 of them. I can't really view any more than that, so I don't know if maybe 6 is the limit. But yeah, mutations are really awesome. They get a lot of radiation in the game. A lot of things hit you and give you radiation damage, a lot of irradiated areas, so you're going to be irradiated a lot. The only bad thing is the Radaway cures the mutations that you like. So if you want to keep a mutation, it sucks if you want to use Radaway if you're super irradiated and have low health, because you're going to lose that mutation. Otherwise, you're going to be like me and you're going to be running around with no health, with really, really high rads. But I think the mutations and the radiation in this game is a pretty clever balance. I really like the way that they put it up. Now let's talk diseases. A lot of the enemies in the game carry around diseases, so when they hit you, you catch it. They are kind of detrimental, and a lot of the times you're going to find you're running around with some sort of disease. But there are cure disease potions and stuff. You can boil your water, you can cook your food, all sorts of stuff like that. Make sure you do that. That's going to save you a lot of time and frustration with having diseases constantly. Make sure you carry around a lot of wood scraps in order to do that. Wood scraps count for all of your boiling and cooking and everything. And another thing that I would say so far as diseases go that's cool is that it's really immersive. I mean, I think it's cool that if you eat a bunch of raw meat or rotten meat off the ground, you're going to get sick. And that stuff does go away, like dysentery. It might hold you back a little bit, but it's really not too bad. Just make sure you're cooking your food and make sure you're boiling your water and try not to get smacked in the face by too many enemies, and I think you're going to be fine.
I got the swamp itch. I'm pretty sure it's genital.
Now let's talk enemies and monsters. There's a lot of really cool, interesting, and unique monsters in the map, from the Grafton monster to this thing me and Shauna fought that looks like the Rake, to Snallygasters. I mean, there's some really cool stuff. Keep in mind, these really neat, interesting, unique monsters don't necessarily mean that they're going to have, like, great loot on them, which sucks. But I've noticed that there's a lot of enemies everywhere in the game. It's kind of centered more like an MMO, where they respawn for the next guy that comes along. Not a lot of huge, powerful ones, but when you do come across them early game, trust me, you regret it. There was a time where me and Walker kept getting caught up by, like, multiple Scorch Beasts, and when you got 3 or 4 of those running around and nothing but a pipe pistol, you're screwed. There's no way out of it. But there's some cool enemies. Some of them are hard to kill early, and you end up dying a lot. And it can be very frustrating. I've played several times where I just kept dying on a spawn over and over again, whether it was super mutants or some crazy thing sprinting around at the speed of human sound. But yeah, they don't always have great loot, but you know, I'll tell you, all the enemies that respawn so far as Scorched, Mole Rats, things like that, they're pretty good for loot, especially the Scorched, because you get weapons from them, you can break down for parts, for wood scraps, you can repair them, you can sell them to the vendor, and I think all in all, that's pretty useful.
Oh, what is that? No, 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 no.
I want to talk about my favorite thing in all of Bethesda ever, outfits. Man, I love styling out with a cool freaking outfit. And there's a lot of them in this game. Yeah, armor breaks, weapons break. You got to use materials to go back and repair them. But man, you can wear outfits on top of armor in this game. So if you have like a pretty dress or a cool outfit, you don't have to worry about that stupid Raider right arm sticking off the side of there and making it look all funky. But I'll have to tell you, man, the pros outweigh the cons immensely in this category. You know, the only con I could think of is, yeah, armor breaks. But most of the time, your armor's up under your clothes anyways, and you look like an awesome police officer, or you look like some crazy raider, or you're just, you know, having fun running around in a pretty dress, or some crazy, like, cross-dresser freaking swimsuit. I mean, I love it. I absolutely love the style and the character customization in this game, and it's brutal. The last thing on the list is the workshop and the camp. You have to remember about making a workshop or a camp is that it does not save between worlds. So if you spend a whole lot of time making this elaborate camp and you load your game and it's not there, and I do believe the reason behind this is the fact that there's a lot of people loading into worlds at once, and in a Bethesda game, when two things try to load at the same time that contradict each other, it causes problems. So I'm hoping to see maybe like 7 Days to Die, some sort of private server upon release where you can go and you can load your own map, your own world, build whatever you want. It's always going to be there, and you can invite people to play that game, and vice versa. I will say I like the fact that there's blueprints. If you have a cool house, you can kind of blueprint it, go back and put it in another world, but you do have to pay for the materials. You can camp almost anywhere. The thing that I have to gripe about the most with crafting is not having the plans, whether it's a workbench or a bed or just some little nonchalant thing you want or need in your camp. You can't necessarily put it in there if you don't find the plans for it, and plans are not easily found anywhere in the world from what I've seen so far. Guys, that's pretty much a look at the Fallout 76 beta so far. I look forward to seeing where this game goes. There's a lot of things I hope for. Hopefully, there's going to be some free DLC. I know I've spent a lot of money over the last, decade since the Shivering Isles spending money on DLC. So I'm hoping that Bethesda lets us pay for this game and gives us any extra add-ons or content, kind of like GTA for free. I'm hoping that they add private servers, kind of like 7 Days to Die, where you can make your own world and build whatever you want, and it doesn't go away. But all in all, I've had a lot of fun playing this game, this beta so far. I'm so excited about it. I want to give a huge shout out to Walkman and Shawnee River for playing it with me so far, and just generally having fun with me while we explore this game. I want to give a shout out to my fiance Allie for dealing with me raging at the fact that I couldn't play the beta, or I couldn't figure out how to get it to work, or it was updating or downloading while I was trying to play it, and just dealing with me editing and playing this game and spending so much of my time into it. All in all, just thanks for watching, guys. If you want to see more content like this, let me know. Feel free to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and honestly, if this video gets any sort of popularity, I think I'm going to go back and I'm going to make more videos similar to this on other games, maybe Red Dead Redemption, Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty. I know these, what's going on so far, or reviews for games is kind of popular. So just let me know in the comments if you want to see more like this. I can put more content like this on the channel. And just all in all, thank you very much. I appreciate it, guys. I'll see you in the next video.